My name is Elena, and I come from a small coastal town in the Philippines, where the sea breathes like a living thing, and the air smells of salt, fish, and memories. In my town, neighbors don't knock when something is wrong, they already know. Pain travels quietly there, passed through worried glances and cups of warm soup left at your door. I was only 19 when my life changed forever. I married a man named Mark. He lived in America. People smiled when they heard my story. Lucky, they said. But luck doesn't always feel like happiness. Sometimes it feels like walking into the unknown with your eyes closed. Before I left, my world was small, but it was safe. My mother was my anchor. She woke me every morning with soft words and gentle hands. When I was sad, she cooked my favorite food without asking why. She knew my heart the way the sea knows the shore, by instinct. I had never slept a night without her in the next room. When I told her I was leaving, she smiled the way mothers do when they don't want to scare their children. But her eyes betrayed her. They were wet, heavy, afraid. The night before my flight, she sat beside me and placed a thin gold chain into my palm. It was warm from her skin. Whenever you feel alone, she whispered, hold this. And remember, you are never weak. The airport, she hugged me so tightly I could feel her heart racing. When I turned back one last time, she was still standing there, smaller than I remembered. On the day I left, my body traveled forward, but my heart stayed behind. America was cold, not just the weather. The silence was cold. The people were cold. And the house I entered felt colder than anything I had ever known. Mark's parents lived there. They didn't welcome me, they examined me. Every movement I made felt watched, judged, measured. My value was decided by how well I cleaned, how quietly I spoke, how little space I took. I didn't know the language well. I didn't know my rights. I didn't know how to speak for myself, so I stayed silent. Every day blurred into the next. Wake up before the sun, work until my back screamed, swallow my tears, smile when spoken to, disappear when ignored. Mark was no longer the man I married. He was distant, hardened, controlled by his parents, and blind to my pain. When I cried, he said, "You'll get used to it." Pain should never be something you get used to. 3 months later, I found out I was pregnant. For the first time since leaving home, I smiled. I believed naively that this baby would change everything. That love would soften hearts. That kindness would finally appear. Instead, life grew heavier. They worked me harder. Rest became a luxury. My sickness was an inconvenience. My exhaustion, a weakness. One night, I collapsed in the kitchen. The floor was cold against my cheek. My vision blurred. I waited for footsteps, for concern, for help. That no one came. That night, I held my stomach and whispered into the darkness, "I will protect you even if no one protects me." Daughter Leah was born during a snowstorm. She was tiny, fragile, warm. Alive, holding her changed something inside me. I was no longer just surviving. I was responsible for another soul. But motherhood was lonely. No help, no kindness, no sleep. When Leah cried, they complained. When I rested, they judged. When I struggled, they looked away. Once, Mark shouted so loudly that Leah started shaking in my arms. Her cries weren't loud, they were frightened. That night, I didn't sleep. I understood something then. Love without safety is not love. One afternoon, while walking with Leah bundled against my chest, I saw a small sign taped to a window. Free English classes. Community center. I didn't tell anyone. I just went. Those 2 hours a week changed my life. I learned words like help, doctor writes. No, one day, the teacher looked at me and said, "You are capable." No one had said that to me in years. Soon, I found a small cleaning job, then another. I saved every dollar quietly, hiding hope inside envelopes no one noticed. I made friends, women like me, women with tired eyes and unbreakable spirits, women who had survived things no one should. One of them once told me, "Strength isn't loud. Sometimes it whispers, keep going." Then came the night. Everything changed. Mark came home drunk. He screamed, threw things. Leah cried in terror. I locked myself in the bathroom and held her close, her heartbeat racing against mine. In that moment, fear turned into clarity. If I stayed, she would grow up afraid. And that was something I could not accept. With the help of a women's support group, I learned the truth. No one could take my child away. No one had the right to control me. I was not trapped. I packed quietly, a few clothes, Leah's toys, my mother's chain. When I closed that door, my hands were shaking, but my heart was steady. My apartment was small, but it was quiet. No shouting, no fear, no judgment, just peace. I cried on the floor, not from pain, but from relief. For the first time in years, I slept deeply. Months later, I received the call. My mother was gone. Grief broke me in ways I cannot explain. The world felt hollow without her voice. But even in my pain, her words stayed with me. You are never weak. I lived for her, for my daughter, for myself. Today, I work, I laugh. I breathe. Leah runs freely. She smiles easily. She sleeps without fear. I am not rich, but I am free, and freedom is everything. This is not just my story. It is the story of countless women who suffer quietly. If you are one of them, hear this. Your voice matters. Your life matters. And it is never too late to choose yourself. If this story moved you, please leave a comment, and share it with others. More heartfelt and inspiring stories are on the way.